to tell my story so far. So as been said, my name is Johnny Wedlock, and I'm 26 years of age, and I'm from Elim, County Cavan. And I've been brought up in a Christian home, and whereas the blessing of being brought to gospel meetings like this, and church regularly every Sunday morning, and here I was taught of how God loved me, and how God has died for me on the cross. And I was taught the verse John 3:16, and it just simply tells me, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. God loved me so much that he didn't want to see me perish. He sent his only Son Jesus to die in my place on Calvary. And he loves you just as much as he loves me. He died for you as well. If you put your name into the verse, for God so loved you that he gave his only Son to die for you because of the sinful life that we've all lived. He doesn't want to see anyone perish. So at the age of 7, I simply trusted Jesus to die for me, trust him that I would be in heaven whenever I die. And at the age of 7, I did that. During school, I drifted along, and I suppose I mixed with. I didn't look for the right friends. I kind of looked for the cool friends, the ones that everybody loved, the ones that God suppose didn't really want me to be friendly with them. But I was in school with them anyway, and as time went on, I got into wrong company from what worse, and then the only desire I wanted was have a car, and then get a good job, but not just a job, and I kind of wanted to be a builder, like a carpenter. So I was a carpenter for a good few years during my time from school onwards. So during school I drifted along, and I didn't live a pleasing life to God. It wasn't in his will. I chose wrong company and chose to do things that, having done them, my conscience, it pricked me so hard. I'll never forget saying to my parents, like, oh, I'm going to a social or something, but sure, I wouldn't go to a social or whatever, like, it just, my conscience, it made me so unhappy. I was living two lives. I was trying to keep them happy and keep the ones at school, my friends happy, and it was hard work. You can't be done. You can't live two lives. You're either on one side or on the other side. And I was to find that out the hard way. So I did 8 years as a carpenter, and I was in Enniskillen Skill Centre there for 3 years, learning how to be a carpenter. And so I got a qualification in site and joinery in Enniskillen Skill Centre. So as time went on, it was the 18th of June 2009. I was working on a roof near my hometown in Coothill, and it was a normal day. I cannot exaggerate this. This day was so normal. It was a lovely sunny day. I was so happy. I worked on the roof, and that's the best place for the day when it's sunny. You work on this roof and you get a nice tan, and it's just everything was going great. And anyway, so I was working on the roof, and the roof collapsed, and I went down with it, and I fell 15 foot, and landed onto my head on the concrete floor, and this is the first page. And so yeah, like my boss rang home, and the mum answered the phone, and there's been an accident, and she knew rightly that by the tone of his, like, he didn't cut his finger or anything, like it was an accident, like she knew it was really bad. So she dropped the phone, and her and Daddy went up to the house, and so they rang around all the friends. And I know there's friends here that have prayed for me, prayed for me faithfully that I would be healed, that God would open doors that actually wouldn't be nearly possible with the time that I had, because I had to get treatment so quickly. So my friends and family prayed immediately for a bed in Cavan, in Dublin or Belfast, because I was in Cavan Hospital, and Cavan just didn't have the right equipment for me. Like, as good as all they are, but they just can't. They only do so much. They just train me up. So I got to bed in Dublin that night I was told it was 5 o'clock on Friday. I fell on Thursday morning and on Friday morning I got to Dublin. So I brought down to Dublin and I suppose they scanned me and they just, all they could say was, there isn't much hope for me. The outlook was uncertain, like, with brain injuries, you can't tell until I wake up, or, if that happens. You just don't know what happens. So prayer was amazing. There was prayer all around the clock, all over the world, because we have friends everywhere, the neurological surgeons put me on tablets to reduce the brain. When I was unconscious at the time, obviously, the neurological surgeons put me on tablets to reduce the brain from swelling, to keep the swelling out, because if you can imagine the brain's in your head, and it doesn't go so far, because it's all in the bone, and so that's it. The tablets weren't working. But after 4 days, the only option was to operate, cutting right around, and I had to take bone out of my head, sort of flaps out of my head, to let the brain out. And I wasn't going to say this, but my uncle, he's kind of a joker, and he says, at least he has a brain. That's the best of his things. So I think that way. My friends and family prayed for healing and for God to be in control. Also, during the time I was unconscious, I took 2 epileptic fits. I just took 2 fits, and these fits would be very bad because it can be starved of oxygen. It can cause awful damage, And also, I have to just go back a wee bit. In Dublin, they determined that I had multiple fractures in my skull. So I fractured a skull in my nose and my jaw, and a damaged liver and a collapsed lung because I know my liver was damaged because I know the carpenter's tube belting on and I had a lot different hammer and nails and tape and all there, so that's what damaged the liver. But anyway, so moving on then, so they operated on my head, and then the swelling was then under control, and each fit could have caused damage, but praise God, no brain damage was caused. And friends and family kept praying. There was different churches that prayed as well, people that knew it. They knew God could heal people, they knew it. It wasn't a matter of could he, but it was a matter of, it was his will, he do it, so it really was in God's hands from day one. And the fact of the two, when I think about it, I went to work that morning, I slept in, and I didn't take any breakfast. And if I had eaten anything, an apple or anything, I would have vomited on my whatever food was in it, whatever was unconscious, and then maybe probably likely to choke on it and die. So it just goes to show, from the minute I got up, God was in control. 4 weeks after the accident, I woke up, so I was in a coma for 4.5 weeks. It was the month of June and we were of July, and in 2009. Each day, whenever I woke up, this is a little I can tell because I don't remember it all, but I remember when I woke each day I woke up, I improved so much that it was unbelievable. I lost so much weight and so much muscle. I didn't have much in it, but I remember testing the night of the arm, lifting my arm up, and I could lift my arm, honestly, 4 inches every day, and my head could turn more, and at the start I could do nothing, but every day I could do even more, and I'd lost weight. I was down to 6 stone, and that's a low weight, and I was like skinny. There was nothing on me, and each day, the nurse would come in and she would do the checks on me, check for the liver and everything. Honestly, just like that there, things was cleared up, and that is unbelievable. You've got top surgeons, top neurological surgeons in Dublin and Beaumont, one of the best hospitals in the world, and they just didn't understand this. They just had to go and take different looks. different opinions and ask for other doctors to check and see what on earth's happening. To be honest, it was beyond there. They could do nothing. They tested my brain as well about different things like, I don't into politics whatsoever, and they used to ask me, who's the Taoiseach? I said, Taoiseach, who? Like, it was barely something, but, what day of the week is it? Well, I did get them right on time. But like, just, things like that, this just goes to show how calm I was in the whole thing, I don't know how I was not enjoying it, but just so relaxed. Like, God was with me. So it's just, I can't describe how much God was with me. So after 6 weeks in Dublin, I was sent to Cavan General Hospital. I got to get weaned off some of the drugs that I've been on, and to have some intense physio, like walking and things like that, because my balance was very bad. And that was that in Cavan. And then I had 4 weeks in Cavan General, and then I was sent to a nursing home. I just brought over to a nursing home. And it's like pathways thing. It's a bit of rehabilitation, but it's really a nursing home. And I didn't really like it, but I got to like it during the week, during the month I was there. I used to, because I was walking at this stage, and they've got wheelchairs, trying to bring the old people in the wheelchairs. I used to fly around the place, and I did go there, and Zimbo friend was quicker with me in the wheelchair. And I had good crack doing that, just talking to them as well. And sure, the next youngest to me was 48. So when I talked to him, we would too. Most of them was all old people. It's still good fun. And then after the nursing home, I was in National Rehabilitation Centre in Dunleary, and this was a tough place. This is where you have people from road accidents and really bad cases, and I really got it hard here. This was like people young, 16, 18, young people, and they're like 12 or 13, and it still touches my heart today to see, they're just screaming and they're in pain. They're actually not in pain, it's just their brain's not right. So that was the end of all the hospital stays. And since all the hospital stays, I've been told that I'm healed fully. And this is an amazement to doctors and nursing staff that I've met. My parents were heartbroken because whenever, during the month I was unconscious, they used to say, okay, so good scenario here, if he wakes up, he'll probably not be awake, he'll probably not be able to talk, it was just awful for them, really, they did a scrapbook for me as well, this is your car, this is your father, a picture of it was a really nice thing to do, and then they put nice verses in it as well, and the verse that I remember reading when I was probably in the nursing home, when I was starting to kind of come out of the whole thing, I was reading verses, I don't know where it's from, but it's, with God all things are possible. How true that is. No one could do anything for me, nobody, not even the top surgeons in Dublin. It was all in God's hands. I believe that God used this accident to stop me from ruining my life by not living it for Him. I wasn't ruining my life here. I wasn't hard on drugs or drink or anything. I wasn't just living it for God, and God made our lives, so He knows what's best for our lives, So I believe that's why He used the accident. And if you think you're going through a hard time, you think that was hard, and some people think that was hard for me. When I was fit for it, look at me, today I'm I'm not working, but I can walk, and I'm walking and driving and living life, And God brings you, He doesn't bring you too far. He just taught me a lesson. This accident has blessed me so much. It has blessed me to feel God that we're singing about. That He's so close to me. You know, it's unbelievable. Every day, every morning, just God, there's just no fear. I was ready for God, had me ready for everything, you know. And since the operation, I had, these bones were taken out, and well, I don't know, I remember very late, but I had like a wee dip in my head here, and I wanted to get that. Well, the people, the consultant said that I will want you to be the way you were, so they got plastic surgery on me here, and like this was the same operation right around, and I remember praying in the reception, fancy word, like a reception room for theatre, where they literally just get you ready for an operation. And like, you know, I thought I would be dreading it here. I wish I'd just come from behind and knock me out, you know. But I was calm, I was so, looking forward to this. You know, I was just looking forward to it. And this story is all of God's, what God has done. It's not, I don't want anyone to see me here today. Like it's just all what God has done. It's just 100% God. I just lay there and it's just taking everything, like, you know. And praise God for all He has done. And I cannot help but wonder why you haven't given your life to God, who has created us in His own image. Like, you know, surely when we know He has created us, He knows what's best for us. You know, when you think about that, that was on my heart during the week. You know, we think we know what's best for our lives, or we want to do it. But God made us, and He knows what's best for us. And God hit me when He knocked me off the roof to knock some sense into me. Like, honestly, it just I just worry for some people, worry for friends that just want to live their life their way. And you know, God is so powerful that He wants us all to live for Him. I've got just the version, and I read at the start. I was reading it, and it's John 3:16, and you know, I learned that at gospel meetings and children's meetings. And for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him will never perish. And that just rolls off my tongue, you know. And that was at me during the week. Like, I really loved that. And then I went on to John 3:17 and 18. For God did not send His Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through Him. Whoever believes in Him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already, because they have not believed in the name of God, God's one and only Son. So, like, for God so loved you, He didn't come to condemn, and condemn means guilty. When you're not saved, you're guilty in front of God's eyes. Like, punishment for sin is hell. And if you're not ready to meet God, you're guilty. And what an awful way to be, like, guilty in front of God, Jesus. He loves us so much. And but since the accident, I can say that my life, I've been blessed so much. I've been blessed so much. And since the accident, my life was much closer to God, because through what I felt, like I feeling God's healing power, and people thinking, this never happens, like, you know, this, it's just amazing. Like, I can remember waking up in the intensive care unit, remembering it was the way, like, I never forget her name, like, the wee nurse that was in the intensive care unit, she'd come and kiss me on the cheek, like, I never forget things like that, and it's just so much. That's really all. I can't believe at the end of the whole page, but that's what God, and I hope that God uses that and speaks to you through it. I can't exaggerate enough that if you're not in God's will, like, I'm going to just encourage you to be in God's will, because you know, don't let an accident that happened to me, or an accident that happened to me speak to you, you know. That's all I can say. Thanks very much.